No more scares this time, I think. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we're here with my blind reaction to episode 20 of Big City Greens. And yeah, so we had the Halloween special last time, and next time we're actually going to get back to where we left off, because before we took the break in the first place. Because as I said last time, these episodes are kind of out of production order, which is stupid. And this has happened with other shows too, and I don't fucking know why. It makes no sense. But when you have like ongoing narrative parts, it really makes things confusing. Because it's like you go from one episode that has this big cliffhanger at the ending, that has this big reveal, and then you have like multiple full episodes in between that have nothing to do with that. One of which you could maybe argue isn't like fully canon because of the Halloween special and everything. But it's like this, the other, it's like, yeah, they just take place at a different point. And it's just confusing that way. There's no reason to do it that way. Like I said last time, I think they might have moved things around because they specifically wanted certain episodes to air at specific dates. But it messes so much up. And it would be really hard for me to try and do this in the correct order because I would have to know titles beforehand, and I really don't want to do that. Like, it seems like such a minor thing for some people, I'm sure, but like, I really do try to stay as spoiler free as possible with anything I'm reacting to. And titles can often give away a good amount. Episode titles can tell you a lot about like what the main plot of an episode is, or even just a segment of an episode in this case. And it's something I just don't want to do, you know? I don't want to have to deal with knowing what's going to happen and that affecting my enjoyment of the episode. And if I did that for every episode just so I could get the correct order, that would just like really mess up my enjoyment of it. And most of these episodes are like very episodic and don't have too much in terms of continuity outside of like, oh, you'll see this character Chip again and again. And that's not really been an issue. Like, okay, every time we see him, it feels like it's a continuation, and it's like that doesn't seem to be out of order. But again, you're going to have multiple episodes in between that big reveal and the follow-up of it, of the Green Mom. The Green Mom sounds weird. You know what I mean, the Green family's mom. It just feels like a weird way to do it. And again, this is not the only show that's had issues with this. I think Steven Universe did, and maybe some others. Did Star Versus have issues with this? It might have. I know there was something else I reacted to specifically that had this issue, because I know I've touched on this before. But either way, I have no idea what's happening in this episode. All I know is it's not the continuation until next episode, so who knows? Let's just get to it and I guess find out, and maybe try to piece together where this comes into the timeline. Let's see. Let's find out. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So these segments were just okay, honestly. Um, they didn't really do a huge amount for me, but interestingly enough, big deal. The first one here with the Black Friday stuff, or I guess technically just Thanksgiving deals. Reminded me of a previous episode. I had to look it up. The episode is called DIY Guys, and it's like, um, the dad. Oh my god, what is his fucking name? Oh my god, I can't think of his name. Shit, hold on. Wow, this is gonna bother me. Hold on. Bill. Wow, I just had a complete blank out there. Um, Bill in the DIY guys episode was trying to like get Cricket to become like self-sufficient or something, and they go to the hardware store, and it's like they get lost in the hardware store, and they kind of play around with like it being like kind of this creepy place and shit. It kind of reminded me of just the way people were acting in this in the supermarket here for the uh again, I'm just gonna call it Black Friday deals for sake of ease, because that's basically what it's joking about here. um it had a very similar vibe, and there was actually points like watching this I'm thinking like, have I seen this? Did I somehow watch this episode before? But no, it just reminded me of that other episode. I was genuinely really confused for a moment, because I didn't remember John Hamm's character at all. Louis. I didn't remember him at all. But it's like just the vibe of it was so fucking similar. Um, the general idea of the episode and everything was like pretty, I feel, standard, like nothing really special about it. It was pretty, I guess, inventive with the kind of shit they were doing, but eh. And it did have a nice ending, like with Lewis like being invited to have like food with them, and like being really happy because he's always working on Thanksgiving and doesn't get to see his family, and it's like that's really sad actually. But then we have the second segment here, Forbidden Feline, and this one I didn't really care for. Like, Maurice LaMarche did a fun performance as Gregorio. It's like, I knew I recognized him. It's just the accent was throwing me off a little. Um, but the episode itself, I kind of have some issues with. This episode kind of reads to me, and I don't think it was necessarily intentional, but it reads to me as like the kind of thing where it's like, oh, if you bother someone enough, they're just going to give in to you. And it's like, that's not a good lesson to teach kids. This series is marketed towards children, and you don't want to teach them that. It's the same issue that a lot of people have with the A Friend Indeed episode of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, with Pinkie Pie bugging Cranky in the same way until he eventually gives in. The only difference here is that in that episode, Pinkie Pie actually gave Cranky something of value. He helped reunite him with his long lost love. This actually shows that she, chose to do something selfless for him in the end, rather than just doing it for the sake of trying to be friends with him. It changes kind of the narrative, even if it's not done exceptionally well or anything. In this case, you kind of have Tilly trying to do the same thing at the end, like by giving back Anoush, rather than literally kidnapping. Well, kidnapping is maybe the wrong word, but close enough. Kidnapping the cat, all because she sees Mr. Gregorian crying over. I assume it was like his wife or something left him. It sounded like, and he had no more friends or anything, and so like Anoush is all he had, and he was like really like destroyed emotionally by the fact that Anoush would like leave him. And it's just like, Just get your fucking cat back. Call the cops. You know this girl came into your house without permission. She broke in, stole your cat. You know where she lives. It's like it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me to have like him like just kind of giving up there. And then like Tilly, it's like gives up and she just ends up getting rewarded for like having a heart in the end, despite the fact that she was, like at first it was fine. She was just like this cat came by, she was just trying to spend time with it. But she kept bothering this man, and then like she literally broke into his house with the intent of kidnapping his cat. It's like Tilly can be pretty crazy and wild at times. Like that's kind of in her character to be like kind of insane. But it's like I don't know. This just seemed like a little too far. Like I know in the previous segment too in Big Deal, she like literally had those kids tied up on a forklift. It's like Jesus fuck Tilly. But that was played for the laughs of the absurdity because of the Black Friday joke. That was the entire point, that it was ridiculously absurd. The second segment here was more grounded, and that made it feel genuinely more unnerving. Because with the first one, it's supposed to be silly, it's supposed to be ridiculous, it's supposed to be over the top. But the second one is much more grounded, much more like genuine feeling. And because of that, having a joke like that with Tilly doing something like this bad, it makes her look like the bad guy. And funny enough, the episode didn't even feel like it was going to go this way at the very beginning. At the beginning of the episode, it felt more like it was going to be about Grandma Alice and Mr. Gregorian and finding out why they even hate each other in the first place. And then it just ignored that. It just went into a completely separate story with Tilly and the cat. And it's just like, I don't care about this. It's like, I would rather find out more about this entire rivalry between Grandma Alice and Mr. Gregorian. That's much more interesting. You set that up and you're not going to even use that? I assume it might be gone over in another episode at some point, but it just feels so out of place to suddenly switch, like, focuses. And again, with the way they portrayed Tilly here, with it being a more grounded, down-to-earth episode, it's just like, I'm not rooting for her. Like, you don't want me to root for her, right? Because I'm not. She's the bad guy here. Like, it tries to make you think Mr. Gregorian's the bad guy because he's kind of rude, but it's like, she's trying to take his cat. I think he has a right to be rude to her in that case. Oh my goodness. It's just, I feel like it was poorly executed. Because the thing is, Tilly didn't even really have the best intentions either. Again, comparing it to A Friend Indeed from MLP, it's like Pinkie Pie just wanted to be friends with him. There's no ill intent there. There's nothing wrong with that. She just wanted to be friends with Cranky. She was, bothering him, and that was wrong. But still. It's like here, Tilly is like actively trying to take his cat for herself. Just because the cat is fancy and happens to like her. It's like, that's kind of fucked up. And yes, in both cases, the characters do bad things. But again, in the end, what Pinkie does for Cranky feels a lot more meaningful and well-intentioned than what Tilly does for Mr. Gregorian. Like, I don't know, it feels like the way it was handled was better. Also, part of it also might be because there was little hints at Matilda and Cranky prior, and with this, it just felt like suddenly just sad backstory for the sake of it. And I think part of that also is the runtime, because MLP is like it's not segmented. Each episode is just an episode. But here you only have half of that runtime. So you kind of have to deal with like a lot less time to establish things and to set things up, and that does affect things as well. It just feels a little more mean-spirited than I would personally have wanted it to. And maybe that's just me, but yeah, I wasn't a fan of it. The first segment I liked a lot more because of its absurdity. It wasn't the best segment in and of itself, but it was better than the second one. Um, but either way, this episode just it wasn't really my favorite. It wasn't like inherently bad as a whole, but I couldn't get into it as much as other episodes. This was a weak one for me. It happens. Tell me in the comments below, though, what you thought of this episode of Big City Greens. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.